Okay, what's up guys? It's St. Bro 54 here. We're on the road because it's Thanksgiving and I'm going back home. I would like you guys to remember, since Thanksgiving is coming up soon, politics and family do not mix. So don't do it. don't be a fool. Okay, so we're gonna start in Ecclesiastes 9. Oh, interesting. I didn't know we were still on play for that, but reading out loud. The real reason why this is take 2 is because I found out that the microphone for reading out loud won't work. It won't be able to be heard over the loud highway, so I'm just going to let you guys read along with me like we did during the last Bible study and look at my notes. Feel free to take notes as well. And if you find anything that I didn't find, you can throw your notes in the comments.
The car does pretty good on highways.
Okay, let's begin. We're reading from Ecclesiastes 9. I prefer the Amplified version, so we're actually going to switch to the Amplified version. The Amplified version title is Men Are in the Hands of God. That's the reason why I prefer the Amplified version for this chapter. Actually, I prefer the Amplified version pretty much all the time, but also just for this chapter. Like I always say, you can read along with me from any version you want. Or if you don't read along, change by read along while looking at the screen. I'll stop every 5 verses to write some notes. Alright, so let's begin with our first note. If my keyboard starts to work. Oh, it is working. I just accidentally hit the wrong setting. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, finally, my first note. Now I forgot my first note because I was so busy dealing with the wrong settings. Look back for a second. Oh, right. My first note was the title of the passage, subtitle passage, which is I'm gonna put my own spin on the title. The hands of God. It's going to put we are in the hands of God. Exactly the same meaning. And I'm going to just put that as verse 1. The 1. Okay, like I said before, if you guys catch anything in your notes that I missed, feel free to drop it in the comments. Even if it's not something that I missed, drop it in comments anyway. Maybe somebody else missed it. Feel free to drop your notes in the comments and suggest chapters that I should do for my Christmas road trip or my road trip coming back to college campus. I mean, obviously during my Christmas road trip, Christmas passages are first priority, but if I finish my Christmas passages before I arrive at my destination, anything else is available as well. And I guess a note for verse 2 will be that one day we will all have to answer to God. I recorded a video about college classes before this. It has not been uploaded yet, but when this video is uploaded, that will already be uploaded. So I guess I can say now that if you haven't seen my video about college classes, please watch that. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. Okay, that's really all I have. Let's skip down to verses 6 to 10, and then we'll stop after 10 for a note-taking thing.
Actually, the funny thing is, I-95 is the easiest part of this route. The New Jersey Turnpike. It's like a straight line. It's the easiest part of the whole trip. At first, I got intimidated by it because of the speed, but it is actually the easiest part of the trip.
Alright. I've got a lot for those few verses.
Rick, you're not asleep, are you?
No.
First verse.
Why do you have your hood on? It is
First
hot.
thing is verse 9. I love my family. Anyway, let's just live joyfully. We're gonna circle back to verses 6 to 8. After I write down this thing for verse 9. Okay, let's circle back now. So, circling back to verses 8 to 6, we have the note that I made for that I'm gonna make for verse 7, which is basically, one sec, I'm just gonna copy verse 7 for this note. Copy it and paste the second half of verse 7. I'll show you what I mean by the second half when I copy and paste. I'm going to delete the parentheses because, actually, no, I'm just going to delete the bracket, not what's in the bracket. The Amplified version has a lot of parentheses and brackets, which is why I kind of like it, because it has exclamations of what certain parts mean in the parentheses and brackets, so it's easier to understand the Bible. Okay, I ain't have any notes for 6 or 8. Actually, I do have a note for number 6.
How many more miles to I-278?
28 miles right now till we to the stay on I-95 north and 278.
At the end of
Okay, I just remembered the other thing I like about the Amplified version. You get you get the location of certain verses that connect to the current verse. Like, for example, verse 11 can be connected to Psalm 33, 16 to 19, and cross references. Thanks. Romans 9 to 16. Old Man Rock just told us that that's called a cross reference. Did not know that. I guess that's why he's called Old Man Rock, because he gives the wisdom. I mean, I did this channel to give wisdom, but he can give even more. Alright, let's keep going. We're going with 11 to 15, yeah, but NIV doesn't really have much of that. So I like the Amplified version because it has that, but still has simple language. Anyway, let's focus on 11 to 15. Alright. So, my first thing is for verse 11, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with verse 7. I'm going to copy and paste and take only part of it into my notes. Copied. Alright, got some music. So, as you can see, I took like the very last part of verse 11 for my note for verse 11, but time and chance happened to them all. And I think we can really realize the truth of verse 11 through this pandemic. We've really been playing with the cards of chance during this pandemic. We had so many plans for 2020. A lot of us had a lot of plans for 2020, and we can all name one plan that we had for 2020 that was torn apart. Even if none of us were going to be going on vacation, we can still all name at least one plan that was torn apart. A plan to walk out of your house. Okay. Let's see. Wow. I'm surprised Oh. Nope. I can't really see anything for verses 11 to 15 other than that part. There's a lot of good stuff here about wisdom, though. Oh. Okay, we're going to just go through these last 3 verses. I know that 18 is not a Rule 5, but I decided not to include it in the other part because it's still free. If it ended on 17, I would have included it in the third part, and we would have been reading 11 to 17, and then regrouping after 17. All right, let's regroup.
There's a crash in the Lincoln Tunnel that is causing a delay. You can avoid it by going via I-278 East, which saves 27 minutes.
What are we going to do? Why would I want to take the Lincoln Tunnel and go into Manhattan? Is she crazy?
My mom has a love-hate relationship with the GPS.
Yeah, I love to hate her.
Okay, we are going to now pray for everybody that is in whatever Lincoln Tunnel crash. Thank goodness that's not us. I'm gonna make this up as I go along. Thank the Lord that it is not us in Lincoln Tunnel crash. Please give the emergency responders wisdom as they go into this. Please heal anybody who has been injured there, and give them peace in the midst of this trouble. Amen. Let's get back to our Bible study. Okay. My first note is on verse 18, and yes, I'm going to be circling back around to 16 and 17 after I write my note for verse 18. And since they made a cross-reference, we're going to go to the verses that were cross-referenced after we're done with writing all our notes for this chapter. And then we're going to go to our next chapter of the day.
The problem with this driveway
So
So you don't get a break.
Right.
And this is one thing that a Christian college is meant to, a good Christian college is meant to teach you. Verse 18, wisdom is better than weapons of war. Christian college is pretty much meant, any good Christian college will definitely teach that. In fact, one way you can tell if a Christian college is good is have you learned wisdom there within your first month. Talk about godly wisdom. Have you learned any godly wisdom in there within your first month? One day you can tell before you go if the college is good is just read their statement of faith. If you're planning on going to a Christian college. If you're not planning on going to Christian college, double your armor of God if it's possible to double the armor. I'm messing with you guys. But you get what I mean, right? You get what I mean, guys. Trust me, if you're not going to a Christian college, you're gonna have a few problems. So you really gotta be careful if you're not going to a Christian college. You really gotta suit up in that armor if you're planning on going to a secular college. The words of wise men are hurting. I'm gonna put this here.
15 more miles.
This kind of reminds me of a few of the guys I've met at Cairn University. Verse 17. The words of wise men heard in quiet are better than the shouts of him who rules among fools. Why it reminds me of them is because they are wise men. Surrounded by brothers and sisters in Christ. They're mostly a bunch of wise men. And one thing I can tell you guys is that while if you get lucky, let me rephrase it. If you get blessed, the majority of people at the Christian college that you choose, if you choose a Christian college, will be Christian. But just because you go to Christian college doesn't necessarily mean that every single student there is Christian. Their parents could be Christian and they'll be sending them to the college just because parents are sending them to college just because their parents are, just because it's a Christian family. I was allowed to choose whether I want to go to a Christian college or secular college, except the rule was if I am going away for college, it has to be Christian. So my choice was either go away to a Christian college or stay home and go to either secular or Christian. And I really wanted to go away to college. It's always been a dream of mine to go to a Christian college, so I didn't just go because of my parents' rules, but yes, that was their rule if I go away. And I think that was a very wise decision. So I didn't realize how much time has passed, but that's all we have. Review notes. Drop your notes in the comment section if you thought of anything. And we're going to go to the cross-reference and then move on from there. Our cross-references are Psalm 33, 16 to 19 and Romans 9, 16.
That means we're going to hit delays on I-278. That's all that means. Because we always hit a delay after we come up to Arizona. Never fails.
Okay, I have one note for that whole thing, in fact. So, one sec. Let me just organize here. This is something as Christians we should all already know, but just in case you need a reminder, verses 16 to 19, Psalm 33 actually do remind you that God is just and merciful. Like, try and remember the name of that song. Okay, I don't remember the name of the song. Somebody can comment down below the name. But, like the Christian song says, it's not one or the other, it's hard truth and ridiculous grace. Oh, yeah, that's fully known by Torrent Wells. I'm pronouncing his first name wrong. I will edit the video and put the spelling of his first name since I'm pronouncing it wrong. Sorry about that, guys. I really should learn how to pronounce that name. Okay, let's move on to verse 16, Romans 9:16, which was the other cross-reference. We will end after Romans 9:16. Oh, wrong chapter. Wrong chapter. 9:16. There we are. Well, same topic. God's mercy. If I could title this Bible study, it would be God's Justice and Mercy. Yeah, if I could title this Bible study, it would be God's Justice and Mercy. That's the plan for all of my road trip Bible studies. All my road trip Bible studies should have a title. I didn't think this one would last half an hour, but I guess it did. Okay, you know what to do now. Drop some notes in the comments if you thought of it. I'm going to make my next video, and we are out. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want to see on my trip. Let me know what chapters you want to study with me during my road trip home and during my road trip during Christmas if I have time after the Christmas passages.